Many places in northern England have been scarred by failed regeneration projects that have seen historic terraced homes demolished or left to rot.
Now, in one Lancashire town, though, things are looking up. Now, if ever there was a reporting job for Accrington Stanley, this was it. Sadly, though, we had to settle for local boy Accrington Tony instead.
Once a major hub of England's cotton and textile industry, Lancashire was home to bustling communities of factory workers and their families, occupying rows and rows of terraced houses. But over half a century since the last cotton wheels ceased spinning, these streets in Accrington have become a ghost town. I was born just a few miles down the road in Burnley in a house exactly like one of these, 2 up, 2 down, outdoor loo. But the communities were vibrant. Behind every door a smiling face, a flat cap, a pipe, a set of braces. And that was just the women. But neighbours were friends, and they were friends for life. Now look at them. Boarded up, deserted, shocking. Well, that's how I remember my childhood anyway. Now 1 in 20 houses in Lancashire stand empty, and on this street every house is boarded up, except one on the corner. It belongs to the family who've run the newsagents next door for over 25 years.
This was a booming shop at one time when our houses were full. We had nice people, and then everything started going downhill.
It's become, hasn't it, really, kind of a ghost shop as your customers have disappeared.
It has, yes. There's nothing in the shop, everything's out of date. The stock's being wasted. It's just dead.
And the reason it's dead is because, like in many areas across the country, these properties were designated to be demolished and developed under the previous government. But after the coalition came into power in 2010, the funding was scrapped, and around 40,000 homes earmarked for regeneration were left vacant. With so many empty homes on these blocks, you'd probably expect bulldozers to move in next and knock them to the ground. But that's not what's going to happen. In fact, sooner rather than later, they hope people are going to be living here once again. 200 of these boarded up homes are due to be given a modern day makeover as a result of a partnership between a private developer and housing association backed by the local council.
We're bringing something which is an intrinsic part of this town's heritage back into the 21st century, and within the streets themselves we're going to create a mix of 2, 3 and 4 bedroom properties. Right. On the 4 bedrooms, that involves knocking 2 properties into one to make it fit for young families and to make it appropriate to the needs and the priorities that growing families have.
They hope to attract families back to the area by creating the type of houses that people want to rent these days. More light, bigger bedrooms, and more energy efficient than your old 2 up, 2 down. But how do you rebuild a sense of pride in the community that disappeared with the last residents?
One of the main things that we look for is this mixed community, mixed tenure, mixed ownership. So within a private rented scheme, one of the dangers is the short-term transient nature of what those tenancies are. And if we build in home ownership or some type of scheme that will enable that staircase into home ownership within that private rental scheme, we find that that gives a better community tenure and a longer term commitment to the area in general.
Shall we have a look in? Janet Fox lived here for 20 years, but sold up when the area began to deteriorate. 10 Augusta Street. What do you make of it?
Trash, didn't it?
She'd love to move back, but thinks it'll take more than some new houses to build a community.
And I think they have to do the whole community. I think they have to do the shops and everything on the bottom, as well as putting people into the houses.
Yeah.
When they've done them up, is to rent them out to family people and get a community, a sense of a community back.
The local council say the regeneration will extend to the wider area, and there are plans to create a direct rail link to Manchester, which it hopes will attract tenants from outside the town.
We're proud of our heritage, we're proud of Hyndburn and Accrington, you know, look around you. And we're just grateful that this is happening. We're really, really excited by the prospect and we really believe in it.
But sadly, any regeneration will come too late for Zaz. After a quarter of a century, the family home is finally being sold as part of the new development. His shop will soon be closing its doors for the last time, but Zaz hopes to set up a new store nearby if the community finds its feet again.
Oh, let's hope so, isn't
Breathing
it?
life back into those terraces can only be a good thing. Thanks, Tony, and thanks to all of you for sending in your school reunion photos. This is Sill Grammar School for Girls in 1967.
And this is them now.